Hey everyone, it's Hannah from Hand Physio. We're going to be doing a roller and trigger ball release today. We're going to do a bit more of rotation into the upper body and then get into our glutes with the trigger ball. So these are the two things that you need today. So let's get started. This one will be about 20 minutes. So you can pop a timer on if you want, or just have a look at the clock. So what we're going to start with is just opening up and closing through our thoracic spine. So that's what's the middle part of our spine. So a lot of times when we're running, we're getting a little bit of rotation, but we're trying to keep a lot of that upright posture. So sometimes we can feel stiff in through here. So this one, we're going to be doing a full reach and really round, and then reach back into extension and open up. So reaching around, really round and reach forward, extend and look up, arms come back. You can also do this standing if it's uncomfortable on your feet, to be in this position. I'm feeling like I'm straining a little bit on purpose, but just go into the ranges that feel comfortable. Two more, really reach, and then extend. Extend. We're going to get a bit into shoulder flexion next. So into a downward dog position. You can do a little calf stretch here to start. We'll just pedal through the calves. Try and get that heel to the ground. Try doing a little knee bend. Squeeze the quad. Try to keep that heel on the ground. You really feel strength through the calf. Squat feet. One ankle might be harder than the other. This one's much harder for me. A couple more times. And then ground through your fingers here. And what I want you to try and do is push your chest towards your quads. So you're trying to get your head in between your shoulders and really get a shoulder stretch. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Come back out of it. Do a couple more calf pedals here. And then we'll do another shoulder stretch. Just apply your feet. Try and push the ground away from you to bring your chest towards your quads. Hold for 3, 2, 1. And then we'll go here. And then the last shoulder stretch, anchor the feet, push away, and push your chest towards your quads. Hold, 3, 2, 1, and then roll yourself down. All right, we're gonna grab the roller, and we're gonna do a few thread the needles. So, with this guy here, if you don't want to use a roller, that's okay. Your hands and knees. Hands are going to go in front of the roller. The arm that's rolling under is the one that's using the roller here. And you're threading that needle through. Essentially, bend this elbow and let your shoulder drop towards the ground. And roll back up. And then look through. Sit here for a breath, so deep breath here. And then on exhale, you can come back up. Roll the needle through. Yep. Like this. Roll the needle through. Now we're going to go the other way. So roll it off to the side, anchor hand in front. The arm is coming through on the roller, down the elbow, let that shoulder come down to the ground. Through. Stay here just for a deep breath. We're going to try and expand through those ribs that are being stretched down in our shoulders. Two more. Shoulders round. Deep breath. Back up. Next one. Next one that we're going to do for mid-back again, just getting into that stretch over top of the roller. We're going to do thoracic extension. So place the roller here. Basically, you want it so that you're on your elbows, it's coming into your mid-back. Hands are going to go behind head just to support your neck. And then we're going to extend, open up your shoulders. Let your ribs kind of fall. They don't need to stay tucked down. We're trying to get that extension through our thoracic. And then back up. And you can push with your feet if you want to move up or down through your spine. For me, this is more of a extension exercise over the roller, but you also are getting that little bit of muscle release all along the spine there. So I'm moving up and down the spine. Each extension. You can pick whatever spots can feel good. If you're happy to hold your head with your muscles, you can do extension with your arms at the top, but usually that's a lot of strain through here, so I like to support. So just go down the spine. Open your elbows, then get up off the roller here. Now we've got a lot of that stretching movement, we're just going to do a little bit of an activation. So roll and go to the side. And you're going to lie down onto your stomach. Arms are going to be in kind of like a W shape, just beside the body here. Forehead stays off the ground, chin's tucked. I want you to try and tuck your tailbone underneath as well, so your arched back is not too arched. From here, you're going to lift your arms up and squeeze your shoulder blades. You're just going to hold that. We're going to hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. And then we're going to do another set. So reset, and then down. Chin tucked. Tuck your tailbone, just so your back is not arched, so a little bit of that glute squeeze. Shoulders and elbows into a W, and then lift. Squeeze between the shoulder blades. 10, 9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax it for a second again. Chill out for a sec. Then we're going to do 2 more rows. Chin tuck, tailbone tuck, elbow in W, lift, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax there. Shake it out a little bit. I feel like you just have a little nap in between. Then do one more. Chin tuck, take a tuck, Elbows at a W, lift, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. All right. Now we got a little bit of that rotation into our thoracic. We got that extension, flexion, and then opening into that strength for that postural movement while we're running. So like I said, a lot of it is just that postural stability, trying to keep our trunk from having to do too much work and keep that running economy really efficient. So that's upper body into here. Let's get into hips and glutes. So, trigger ball, we're gonna get into glutes to start. So we have a couple different glute muscles that we're going to target today. We'll start with glute med, which is that side muscle that works on the stability for our hips when we're running. So how I like to find it is finding that front hip bone of your hip here, pop the ball on it, and then go diagonally back, pop the ball between your hip and the ground, lean onto your elbow, and then I almost just like to open up this hip, and then you should basically start feeling some juicy spots. So if you can't quite find it, use your hands, kind of like shift your hip around a little bit. You're probably going to find something a little bit touchy, and I only want it to be a good sore. So again, like a juicy spot, a spicy spot, but you shouldn't be grimacing in pain. You should almost be able to kind of like relax your glutes. So right now that we're on it and you found it, you might feel like your glutes are quite tense, and I want you to just try to let them go. You're gonna have a little bit of a shoulder workout here just because you have to balance a bit. We're gonna hold that glute med here. You can rock back and forth a bit. You can find another little spot. Essentially what we're doing with the trigger ball release is getting into spots that we demand a lot of when running. We're not necessarily getting rid of knots or loosening adhesions, but sometimes it can just reduce the feeling of that soreness or heaviness. And that's why I want this to feel good and not painful when you're doing it. So try to help your body recover. Not do another workout. So that's a nice glute med on this one side. From here, we're going to roll into our piriformis muscle. So that one is going to be a little bit deeper. So here I like to find my sit bone and then move the ball up the glute. And now we're going to be sitting a bit more upright. And this one from here, so both hands are for support. And then you can almost, same thing, open and close this hip. Again, it's going to be a bit spicy. It shouldn't be nervy or sharp. You kind of roll around where you're just above your sit bone. Use your hands so you can take some of that pressure off, so it's not too much. And the same thing here, you can open and close it if it's comfortable. Or you can kind of just spot, just try to breathe, try to relax through it. These piriformis responses or the hip external rotators, they kind of work as a group. And they do exactly that. They externally rotate or outwards rotate up the hip. And they help with a little bit of just that stability and control with each foot on the land. So let's swap hips here. Trigger ball for the other side. So again, we're going to start with glute med. So that's a stabilizer one. Find the front bone. Go diagonally down. Come onto the elbow. Lean over basically. Try to let that clench in your glutes go. You have it. Breathe out. Now relax a little bit. It's not super relaxing. But again, the point is mobility, recovery. I'm not trying to go crazy here. Find another little spot. And then let's move to piriformis. So sit bone, and up a bit. You're going to want both hands here for support. And this one you can open and close this hip. Move around a little bit, see if you can find that juicy spot. Not quite on the sit bone. And again, it shouldn't be sharp or nervy. You go through the motions here, that rotation, just if it's comfortable. Honestly, you don't have to. You can kind of just roll back and forth if you need. A little bit more here. All right, good for the glutes. Got trigger balls. Let's get into a little glute stretch here. So this one, you can start with legs up straight. The one that you're going to be stretching, you're going to bring across the body. And from here, I want you to wrap your elbow around that knee, sit up nice and tall, and almost try to pull this knee towards you. So squeeze your elbow in, you're getting a little bit of a bicep squeeze. Sit up nice and tall, and you should feel a stretch into your glute. So it's not as much of a trying to rotate as much as you can. You're actually trying to pull this hip towards you so you feel it deeper in through here. And so now we're going to hold that, pulling towards you for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now you're actually going to resist yourself. So you're trying to push your knee into your arm, but you're going to resist it here. So now I'm going to push. Now I should feel this glute working a little bit. So now we're going to do a push for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then another stretch. So I'm pulling it towards, stay up tall, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1 more push. Now pushing my arm, pushing my leg into my arm, resisting. Feeling this work. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just relax there. We'll actually do a little rotation. And just get that spinal rotation into here. 2, 5, 4, 5. Shake out that hip there. And let's do the other one. Leg crosses, arm comes around, sit up nice and tall, and try and pull this knee almost towards your armpit. So I'm feeling a stretch in through this glute here. Rotate so you can see. So pull, stretch here. So pull, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now I'm going to push my knee out and resist it with my arm. So I'm pushing now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now pulling, sitting up tall. You can rotate a bit towards you. You should feel stretching through the glute here. Pull for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then push. 4, 3, 2, 1. One more pull. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then the last push. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax there. Shake both of those hips out. And so we'll get a bit of that rotation in again. Go all the way through. Get that spine. So we'll do 5 breaths. So this one is more of that spinal rotation. I don't really feel it in my glutes. I feel more in my thoracic spine, trying to really rotate through here. 2 more breaths. Lovely. And then the last one that we're going to do for hips and whole body is just going to be a little bit of a cat-cow. So we're going to get that spinal roll. So we'll go full spinal flexion and extension. 2. And then the last stretch we'll get into is your classic runner stretch. So one leg's coming in front, one leg's coming behind, and we get into that lunge position. Elbow down if you can, and then elbow up. This one, we're going to feel it through the hips here. We're still getting a bit of that spinal rotation, but you're sitting deep into your hips, so that's mostly where you're going to feel it. If you can basically, even if you just sit here and that's enough, that's great. If you want a little bit of mini rotation, feel free. If you want full rotation, elbow comes down, arm comes up. One more on the side. And then we'll swap. So, back leg, forward leg. Sit down into your hips. Kind of just feel it out. See what's working. Elbow down. Up. Maybe you just sit here like this. Mini rotations. Another option. Full rotations. And then we get into that front hip here. And down. Out of that. All right. 20 minutes done. You got it through your thoracic, we got through hips. Again, that's a lot of where most of our movements stabilizing from for running. Hips, pelvis, trunk. And so we want to keep those mobile and happy so we get happy runs. Thanks guys, good job.